Hello, so this is my March 2021 update of the best current accounts for you and your banking here in the UK. I'll take you through later on my top accounts, what you can get from the different banks, including if you're only going to have 5 different accounts, what 5 I think you should be going for. Plus, I've got news of 3 new bank switching promotions, which will give you some cash or some freebies in exchange for moving your bank from your existing bank to one of these new ones. And if you are an M&S Bank customer, you've probably already heard the news. They are going to close down every single one of their accounts and stop offering new ones to everybody in August of this year. So that means if you already have an M&S account, what do you do with that account? I'll be sharing with you my top tips for that. But let's kick off with the bank switching news. Now, last month, I told you about 2 different promotions. 2 of those banks are still offering promotions, but they've changed what they offer. Plus, there's a new one available. And let's start with that new one because it's the top paying one in terms of cash, and it's with HSBC Bank. If you open up one of their advanced accounts and then switch over to them from an existing bank, and that means a proper full switch, which means you have to close down the old account as part of that switch, so you can't keep access to it anymore. Switch over and set up 2 direct debits or 2 standing orders, and that's really interesting. I'll come back to that in a second. Then you will get £125 as a cash switching bonus. Now let's go back to that direct debit and standing order thing. Now, if you do switch bank quite regularly, you'll be used to this. Switching direct debits is often part of what they want you to do because they don't really want you just to open up an account and then not use it at all. If you've got direct debits, it means money has to go in there in order to pay those direct debits out. So that's generally what they're doing with that. And if you're a serial bank switcher like I am, you've probably already got your direct debits tied up in an account that's going to give you some rewards. Perhaps it's that Santander 123 Lite account where you get cash back on those direct debits. Or you might have already got them tied up to justify getting your rewards at your Club Lloyds account or whatever it might be. What's interesting about this HSBC Advance account and this switching bonus is you can have standing orders instead of direct debits. So if you haven't got any spare direct debits, obviously if you do, then that's fine. You just use those, it's not a problem. But you can set up a standing order. And all a standing order is moving money from one account to another on a set basis, a set amount. It can be, quite simply if you wanted, 50 quid to move from your new HSBC Advance account into one of your other current accounts or into a savings account or into your partner's account, and they can just send it back. You don't actually have to pay any money. It's just transferring money around. So that means really there's no reason not to go for this. The only one thing about this HSBC Advance account is they do have a very high minimum pay-in to be eligible for this account. I think off the top of my head, £1,750. Now, that's actually, for most people, when you look at average earnings in the UK, that could be their salary. So that's not a problem. If you don't have that amount of money, you can go for the old trick of transferring in £500, take it back out, transfer £500 back in, take it out until you've hit that magic number, that minimum. I'm pretty sure it's £1,750 for the month. But also, you only need to do this until you've got your cash bonus. After that, if you're not going to be using this as an ongoing account, and I would suggest you don't use it as an ongoing account, this is literally just a switch to get the money, then if you don't keep paying that money in, the worst that's going to happen is they'll downgrade you to a kind of pretty simple basic account, but they can't take that money away. And you've still got that account sitting there ready for the next bank switching promotion you want to get. Now, another switching criteria, which often means you can't get hold of these, is about if you're an existing customer. So if you already have an HSBC account right now, tough luck. I'm afraid you can't get this bonus. But if you've previously had an account and it's subsequently you've closed it and you open that before the 1st of January 2018, then you can apply for this and get the switching bonus. So that's good news if you've had one in the past and it's closed right now. As long as it was open, as I say, before the 1st of January 2018, you can get it. Now, HSBC is also kind of runs the banks for First Direct and M&S Bank, and we'll get to those in a second. And you can actually still open up and get this switching bonus if you do have an M&S or a First Direct account already. But again, it applies to that same date as long as those accounts were opened before the 1st of January 2018. And I think you get the money pretty quickly. Within kind of 3 weeks, I think it's 20 days of all the things being met, the criteria being met, you'll get that money in your account. So that's one. The other one, which is offering cash, which is new. Well, I say new, I mentioned it last time, First Direct. Last month, I told you about the offer they had, and it was if you closed your account after 6 months, but before a year was up, and you switched away to somebody else, they would give you £100 to go. Bit of a weird one. I guess they're banking on the idea there that you go there, you love them so much that you're not going to go. You want to keep your banking with them rather than move on, or you just forget to claim that money. Well, they've gone back, they've switched it around to what they've had in the past, and now it's £100 for switching into First Direct, and you get that money within, I think, 28 days of meeting the minimum criteria. And that minimum criteria, no direct debits, no standing orders with this one. You simply have to pay in £1,000 within the first 3 months. So you could pay that in day one, and in theory, 3-4 weeks later, you would get your £100 paid into that First Direct account. Now this one, again, once more, it has that same criteria about existing accounts. Existing First Direct customers, no joy. And similarly, you can't have opened up an HSBC or M&S account since the 1st of January 2018. But if it's before that date, then you'll be fine. You'll be eligible to get it. Now, the last bank switching offer, which is, again, this is a changed one from what was available before, is still with Virgin Money. They've been offering free wine for your business since December of last year. Now, the offer which ended in the middle of February was 15 bottles of Virgin wine. And they ranked that, they rated that about £180 worth of wine. I think realistically, you were looking closer to 120 quid really. Because if you went and bought wine yourself of a similar ilk, a similar value, and took advantage of special offers, you could get it for less. But still, not to turn your nose up at, if you can excuse the kind of the wine pun there. They've changed it. And now what you get is, rather than 15 bottles of wine, you get 12 bottles of wine. And essentially, it's the same bottles, but they've taken out the Prosecco, and you get one less of ones where you've got duplicates. So if that was, they say it's worth 160, I think they say now, maybe 140, a bit less, because you're obviously taking out 3 bottles of wine. I would say you're probably looking about that 80 to 100 quid mark for a similar thing. Okay, so the value has decreased quite a bit. However, what they will give you as well, and I like this a lot more than the wine offer actually, as well as those 3 bottles of wine, they will give you a £50 charitable donation via Virgin Giving. They're trying to kind of tie in all their different brands and get you familiar with all their brands, yeah, make it sort of Virgin sort of ecosystem. But that to me, I think is better. I'd rather have given 50 quid to a charity than have 3 more bottles of wine. So if you haven't already switched to Virgin Money, then you might want to look at that one and take advantage of it. You also get access to the 2.02% interest on £1,000 kept in that current account, and their linked savings account, which currently pays 0.5%, but that is going to drop to 0.35% in April. More information on that over in my savings update for March 2021. So do watch that if you're interested in getting the best best value for money, the highest interest possible on your savings. So there you go. 3 different bank switching offers. They're the only ones right now. We've not seen any of the other banks kind of come on board. I was thinking we might see the likes of Halifax or Lloyds start to offer money, because they are, as we see every time the switching figures come along, we see the banks who are offering cash take customers away from the other banks. So the other big banks. So I was expecting some of that. Who knows? By the time I give you this update in a month's time, maybe those banks will be offering some cash incentives. If you want to make sure you don't miss out on any of those updates, then probably the best thing for you to do is to subscribe to my newsletter. This is becleverwithyourcash.com/newsletter, and I will link to it below. And this goes out every single Thursday, and it is a combination of all my videos, all the articles I write on the blog, all the podcast episodes I do, plus a selection of deals and promotions that I've spotted in that week. Get that to your inbox so you will know if anything happens between now and my next banking update in a month's time. You'll know before, just in case that offer is short-lived and doesn't make it until next time. Now, I want to quickly touch on that other big banking news story I mentioned at the top. M&S Bank is closing down all its current accounts and also closing down its in-store branches. Now, it's already stopped new customers getting accounts. Okay, so you can't get an account now if you haven't got one. If you have got a current account or the linked monthly saver, which was really popular for lots of people because it was giving a decent rate of interest, they would all be shut down in August of this year. Now, emails and letters have gone out for people, so I'm pretty sure most people know about it already. There's a huge amount of information on their websites telling you what you can and can't do. But my top tip for you is switch. I've given you 3 options just now where you might want to switch your money over. And so as long as you open this account before the 1st of January 2018, your M&S account, before that date, you can switch to the HSBC or First Direct. If not, then it is just that Virgin Money one that's available to you. But I would take advantage of it, get the offers that are there right now. If it's your only account you've got, this is your only bank account, then I would recommend you switch to one of those and you open up a second account. If I did a video the other week, check it out. I think you should have at least 3 different current accounts. Open up a second account. So you switch your M&S one to another one, which you get the bonuses for. And then, as I'll get into a second, you take a pick of another account which you think is the best one for you in terms of helping you manage your money. So you've got until, you don't have to rush. If you want to wait and see what other switching offers come along, you can wait. There might not be any more. There might be some better ones. You just don't know. But you've got to do this because before August, okay? And the switch only takes 7 working days. So there's plenty of time to sort of think about it and do it, but you've got to make sure you do it before then. If you do nothing, then your account will become frozen and you won't be able to get, if there's any money left in there, you won't be able to get it. You won't be able to get your bank statements, anything like that. You'll have to contact M&S Bank to pay you the money. And that might take some time. Obviously, it will leave you without a bank. If you need to send direct debits, they won't happen. If salary comes in, that won't go in. Okay, so it's really, really important you deal with this, you take action. Very, very quickly on the regular saver that's attached to it. I would normally cover this in my savings video, but it's relevant to now because I know a lot of people, they got that current account just to get that savings account. What they've said is they will give you the full amount of interest as if you carried on paying on it for the whole year. So you shouldn't lose out. So they assume that you were putting 250 quid into it every single month until it finishes. Now these are locked for 12 months pretty much. That's how long they last. So you could be in month 11, you could be in month 1, okay? Whatever it is, but they'll give you the interest based on that. They'll give more details soon about exactly how that will work. But there you go, that's the big money news this week. 3 new bank switching promotions and sadly, the closure of another high street bank. They are, I should say, going to carry on doing credit cards and loans and other savings products. It's just current accounts that are going to go and that linked regular saver that will disappear. Okay, let's talk about my top accounts right now, the ones that I think you should go for. The number 1 account, again, I think you should look at, as I've said many times before, is I think you should have an account for your spending. And I think this should be one of the new sort of fintech challenger banks. I say that, they've been going around for 3 or 4 years now. Starling is my number 1 pick, but Monzo is also really worth a look. These just have a really great banking experience within the app. You know, they're very, very, very intuitive. They help you analyze where your money's going. Really good sort of things you can do to help you save if you're not great at saving. Extra features which other banks are copying that let you do things like check your PIN on your phone and all that kind of stuff. So I would definitely think about one of those as your spending account. You might not want to put your money in there, your salary in there, but I would transfer, like I've got this month, I've got £800, £2,000, whatever it is you know you're going to spend that month, transfer that in and then use it for all your different transactions. That's the first one I would go for. Next, I would go for the one that's going to get you the most interest on your savings, and it is the aforementioned Virgin Money account. You cannot beat that 2.02%, only on £1,000, but that is better than nothing and better than you're going to get anywhere else. And it's also a really great place that, let's say something goes wrong, there is an emergency, you can't access your main account, where you can still open up that Virgin Money account, get into there, and you'll still have some money in there, £1,000 emergency pot, just to get you through a few days or whatever, if for some reason you can't get into your main account. Now, the third account I think you should go for is a switching account, one which you have just to switch. My pick right now is the TSB Spend and Save account. This is not a great account. I'm not a big fan. I've had a request to do a review of it, so I'll put that on the list. There's a long list of videos, but I'll put that on the list and maybe I'll give you a bit more detail about it. I wouldn't bother about the features it gives you. The reason I would open this one up to switch is because Quidco offers cash back on this, just for opening it. Yes, you have to have it open for 3 or 4 months. Yes, you have to pay in a certain amount of money in that time and a few other hoops to jump through, but it's all manageable. You can do that. It's no big issue. And once you've got that, so yes, we're talking about, say, 4 months before you can get that cash back and then switch again. Then you switch it to get the other promos and you keep switching and switching and switching. If you haven't already got one of these, then I would get one. And that's what I would go for, because you're not going to lose out at all if you then switch it away. Beyond that, I would look at getting some reward accounts. I would look at the Santander 123 account. This is for cash back on your bills. So long as you're the person paying the bills in your home, your council tax, your energy, your mobile, your TV, double check that those providers are actually in there. Then you can type it into the Santander website and they'll tell you, yes, we'll give money back on that. And you're going to get between 30, 40, whatever quid back from that. It's well worth looking at that one. Okay, we're talking about over a year here. Not a huge amount, but it all adds up. The more expensive your bills, the more money you'll get. But obviously, I'd still rather you try and trim your bills down and earn less cash back because you save more money overall. Or the other one, my other top pick from those reward accounts is probably right now in particular is the Halifax Rewards account. You will get £5 a month, every month, if you jump through the hoops that come with that. Now, the hoops there are that you have to pay in a certain amount every single month to make sure you don't pay the fee. And you have to use your debit card for 500 quid. The trick here, if you're someone like me who uses the cashback credit card for everything, use that Halifax debit card to pay off your credit card. Okay, so you know additional spending going on. You're not losing out by spending on that rather than your American Express or whatever. The reason that's my top pick, A, because it's cash and you can get it, but also the Club Lloyds, which I do love and I think it is a great account. The things they're giving away: movie tickets, cinemas still aren't open, and movie rentals. There are no new movie rentals really coming through because there have been no cinema releases. So really right now, they're not great accounts to go for. That's my big summary. Obviously, I have everything on this, all the updates over on the blog, becleverwithyourcash.com, and I'll link to it below and up here so you can click through and just see if anything's changed since I recorded this video. If you have found it useful, if you think I've saved you some money or helped you, find better ways to manage your money, please do hit that like button. Again, don't forget that subscribe and notification bell means you won't miss any of my future updates. My name's Andy Webb. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, cheers. And here are a couple more videos you might find interesting.